So I do these ritualistic watches. I'll watch a series of films, usually connected in some way, maybe a genre, maybe a director. I do a lot of director ones, sometimes actors, writers. I'll watch one movie and then I'll want to know what else did they do, and I'll end up watching a bunch of them. And I grow tired of doing it after a while, and then so sometimes I'll come back and I'll have like a part two. So back in the day, I did a Chow Hark series and uh, series of watches, and then and John Woo. Been watching him over the years, but always wanted to do watch the films that were their pairing. Because with Chow Hark, I did a lot of his early films. I did the Once Upon a Time in China series, all five of them, and I was getting into the Aces Go Places series. And obviously, I watched the Jean-Claude Van Damme movies, Knockoff and Double Team, that Chow Hark did. And this time, I rewatched the Jean-Claude Van Damme Hard Target film that he did with John Woo, because Jean-Claude Van Damme was famous for bringing over foreign directors. He also worked with Ringo Lam on Maximum Risk, as well as another thing. So this led into me then watching the Ringo Lam Van Damme movies, Replicant and In Hell, and that was a nice little trilogy. He only did two with Chow Hark and one, unfortunately, only one with John Woo. But this time, anyway, what launched this was I had never seen A Better Tomorrow film, so I wanted to continue my educational journey, if you will, and watch what is some people consider his greatest film. Like, obviously, with John Woo, you have a whole slew of different opinions. You have the people who obviously got into him when he came to the States with Hard Target, Broken Arrow, Face Off, and from there you have the stuff. I've heard people state Red Cliff, which I still haven't seen. And then of course the Killer and Hard Boiled, and people who love that era. But then you have other people who say no, he's never topped A Better Tomorrow. That was my Dead Space or whatever. It was my area where I just didn't know anything about, because I hadn't seen it. But I knew that John Woo and Chow Hark had used to work together until they had a falling out on the set of or after when it was being released, A Better Tomorrow 2, that led to a falling out that they didn't reconcile. Now they're reconciled, but they didn't reconcile until I think around 2010, 2009, somewhere in there, maybe even a little later. I'd have to double check about that, but they were fighting for a while, leading to them not doing A Better Tomorrow 3 together, because it's a trilogy. It's so funny because they had creative differences on where they were gonna go, but they wound up making the same movie in a lot of sense, in a lot of ways, with the third film. So John Woo wanted to do basically what became his script for Bullet in the Head for Better Tomorrow 3, and Chow Hark wanted to go in his direction, but they wound up both having movies set in Vietnam. Only Chow Hark was A Better Tomorrow 3, To Live and Die in Saigon, Love and Death in Saigon, something like that. And it is more of a love story. It is a little bit more melodramatic in that kind of way. Lots of action. Chow Hark is really trying to mimic John Woo's style in A Better Tomorrow 3. And then A Bullet in the Head is this very artistic coming-of-age story. It spans... I don't even know the set of years that it spans, like the timeline, but it's not like they're super young when they are riding bikes like little kids, but they're not super young, but they're supposed to be like more innocent. In the beginning of the movie, it's like their innocence and then their loss of innocence through war and greed, and just getting it's like a hybrid of a crime film and a war film. But the war stuff is insane. The stuff that he shot for Bullet in the Head, that he wouldn't then revisit until Windtalkers in the 2000s with Nicolas Cage, which is also a great film, one of his American films. So anyway, I started A Better Tomorrow, and man, it blew my socks off. A Better Tomorrow was such a good movie. And I was surprised that Tai Lung starred in it because I knew Tai Lung from the Shaw Brother films. Him, when he was working with him and, oh, what's the other guy's name? Oh, I can't remember. Tai Lung and his buddy. Tai Lung, because he did a bunch of, they even did the Duel together. What was the Duel? Oh, David Chang, yeah. So him and David Chang did a series of films together. I mean, all what's great about the Shaw movies is it's all the same actors basically in different costumes, using the same sets and similar, just interchangeable stories. It's like almost like a soap operas with action, and but they're very historical. You know, they're telling stories from Chinese history a lot of the time, dealing with similar characters, and they would just wind up starring in not only a lot of films but a lot of films together. So I became aware of him through that. And Tai Lung, he's older in the A Better Tomorrow films. He stars in the first one. He's also in the second one, but he's not in the third one because the third one is a prequel because they wanted to figure out a way to bring Chow Yun-fat back. The whole series is them figuring out clever ways to bring Chow Yun-fat back. So of course in the sequel, which a lot of people state is their favorite, they do the classic trope of because Chow Yun-fat, spoiler alert, so sorry, but Chow Yun-fat dies in the first film. But in how they got him in the sequel is he had a twin brother that nobody knew about, right? So they bring him back, and he's even more wild in the second movie. His twin brother is this wild character. He has this great scene with fried rice. If you see the movie, you know it's insane. It's so intense, and it's got a lot of like intense chewing of fried rice and throwing rice around, and it's pretty crazy. It's great, and it's very over the top. And I don't know, maybe some of that tonal stuff in the second one is where they fought. I don't know. I don't know who's pro this, who's pro that. I know John Woo seems to be the more serious artist in a way, and Tsui Hark seems to he's in it for the fun. You know, like if you watch his movies, the movies that are just purely him. I mean, Once Upon a Time in China are like historical, you know, action films about that mythical figure, but there's fun to be had. I always called Tsui Hark I said in another video, he's the Chinese Sam Raimi. That's just the way I look at him. He did I think it was his first movie was We're Gonna Eat You, cannibal film, very silly. He does a lot of the crash zooms and the whip pans and a lot of the stuff that Sam Raimi likes to play with camera wise, but it's also he's a bit of a goof, you know, but it's fun. His movies are very fun to watch, and it's interesting to see like a movie like Hard Target, which is funny and charming in a lot of ways by accident or not on purpose, you know, between, you know, Jean-Claude Van Damme's mullet to a lot of this. It's all played seriously, but it's also very funny. Even like the Wilford Brimley stuff, where he's like on the horse and he's an action hero with the bow and his accent and all of that. And a lot of the famous lines of funny lines in that movie are not supposed to be funny, but they are, and in the best way. But in the Tsui Hark Van Damme movies, he's trying to be funny. Double Team and Knockoff are very campy on purpose and very hilarious. That's just him. And that's why I love the blend of the two. And you could feel their two styles working together so beautifully. And it's a real shame that they weren't together in the third one. What's funny about the third one, John Woo's not working on it yet. And like what I mean by Tsui Hark trying to like mimic his style is you could tell there was something missing, but you could also tell that Tsui Hark was kind of trying to fill the gap, the void of Woo not being there by making it a little bit more serious. There's not as many laughs or charm in the third one. Not to say that A Better Tomorrow 1 and 2 are not serious. They are It's weird. You can't help watching A Better Tomorrow and just think of like, I don't know, some like a series like The Godfathers. I mean, it's like epic and important, and these characters are treated that way. But the movie can also it just has a spirit. It's just a life to it that the third film does have. Um, the music is amazing. I fell in love with the music so much in throughout the whole series. The theme repeats, and the performances. Chow Yun Fat. I remember Quentin Tarantino saying he was obsessed with Chow Yun Fat. He was to the point like in the 80s and into the 90s when he was big, really big. He was like walking around wearing a duster and like the coat that Chow Yun Fat wears in the first one. They find a way to bring it back in the second one, even though it has all the bullet holes in it. And I can't remember if it's in the third one, but he was like wearing that, and he said he had like a toothpick in his mouth because Chow Yun Fat's character in A Better Tomorrow famously has the toothpick. I can't. Yes, and his twin brings the toothpick back at the end of the movie, so there's a lot of toothpick action going on. My dad would always have a toothpick in his mouth too, but I'm not even sure he was aware of Chow Yun Fat. He was just doing that before, so it was like a thing people were doing. But it was like it just, I don't know, something about it makes you look cool or something. I don't know, but it's definitely healthier than having a cigarette in your mouth. So there's that. But then Tarantino like turned on Chow Yun Fat, and I think it had something to do with him working with his girlfriend Mira Sorvino on Replacement Killers. I guess he like talked to him, and I don't know. I don't know these people, but what I heard was that he talked Chow Yun Fat up and was really excited that she was getting to make a movie with him. And then he saw the movie and he was not impressed. He said like, wow, maybe I was wrong about Chow Yun Fat the whole time. This acting is terrible. Is he just a bad actor? I don't know how you can come to that conclusion. I saw A Better Tomorrow, and I kind of went backwards. I'm aware of Chow Yun Fat's American stuff and this and that, and I went backwards. I'm seeing his old stuff. I'm like, this is fucking amazing. This guy, he's so good. I can't recommend the A Better Tomorrow films enough, especially if you're a John Woo fan, and especially if you've already seen The Killer and Hard Boiled and the ones that people tell you to watch. These movies, man, you got to see them, and you got to watch more Chow Hark because I know everything's about John Woo. Oh, and watch Ringo Lam. Ringo Lam is that trifecta, and they all work together on different projects. They were all kind of happening at the same time. They were all playing in the action genre when it was exploding in the 80s and into the 90s. Hong Kong cinema, when it moved from it was weird. It was almost like the evolution was the wushu films with the swords and a bit more of the fantasy. And then it morphed, thanks to Bruce Lee, it morphed into hand-to-hand combat with kicks and punches and things like that. And then it morphed into guns, to where there's no kicking in these Woo pictures. Chow Hark was still doing stuff like that because the Once Upon a Time in China films were still happening in the 80s. But he was doing both. With Ringo Lam and John Woo, who had worked on Shaw Brother films, that's where he got his start on these early like wushu films and movies like that. He was now exclusively doing this, what were they called, a bullet ballet? There was all these different names for the genre at the time. I don't know if gun fu was thrown around at the time. It's definitely thrown around now more with John Wick, which is basically the final evolution of that Hong Kong bullet ballet gun fu origin. So if you're interested in all this, if you're a fan of the John Wick movies, you gotta watch Old Woo. You gotta see where this came from, and they're all playing in the same sandbox, and they're all borrowing from each other. Well, everybody's borrowing from John Woo, but yes, they're a bit melodramatic, and it's just there's drama. But it's like that like Hong Kong drama of like brotherly love and honor and code and stuff like that. Um, and but Ringo Lam is the naughtier one. So if you're looking for a movie that's definitely a bit more explicit, the characters are more subversive. He even interjects sex more into his films than not too much, but unless you're talking about Full Contact, which has a bit. Okay, that movie. Oh man, you want to see a crazy movie? You remember those movies like from the early '90s and into mid '90s that were like, well, you remember when it was like movies I'm thinking about is like Natural Born Killers, right? Um, all of the Tarantino ripoffs, but the ones that were like I remember even like the Doom generation around this time had this element, had that like Tarantino element. Oliver Stone then carried it over to U-Turn. Everything was like subversive and slick and wild and heightened. Like Tarantino set the template with like True Romance, and then everybody like jumped on it, and it started to get crazier and more like you remember like a movie like Love in a 45, like how heightened that was. All these movies just started getting crazier and cultier. Well, Full Contact is probably it was insane to see. It's one of the cultiest action films I've ever seen, and it doesn't give a fuck. It's insane in every way you can think about. It's dirty and twisted and full of action and colorful, interesting characters and badasses, and it's just like if you're gonna see one Ringo Lam movie, I would say that's the one to see. Also starring Chow Yun Fat, also in a good role. This was early '90s, definitely early '90s. I don't think it was late '80s, but man, I watched that too. I was going crazy. I saw Better Tomorrow 2, Better Tomorrow 3. I saw Bullet in the Head. I saw. Let me actually try to. What was I doing, man? I went through a whole thing, and I'll tell you in a second where I caught all this stuff. Didn't pay a dime for any of it. I also, because it was on Prime was having like all of these Shawscope movies. So basically the movies from the fourth Arrow set, the box set, the purple one. All the horror movies on that box set were dumped on Prime. But they're not just on Prime. They're on other things too. But so I saw Hex. That's a wild movie. I don't know if you guys ever saw Hex. Kind of stopped there. I haven't watched the other ones yet, but I even saw somewhere in there. This is unrelated, sort of, but it just so happened that Prime also put up a Great Wall. Never saw Great Wall. The Matt Damon movie. Man, that's a really fun movie. It's so colorful. The set pieces. It was a shame what happened in that movie. It was really kind of under the radar. It got bad reviews. If you just take the Matt Damon out of it, I mean, him and freaking Mandalorian. I can't remember. I think of his name right now. Pedro Pascal. They're like the least interesting thing about the movie, but that's okay. Everything else surrounding that movie, it's amazing. It's a fun time. If you're looking for something that's like, fistful of dollars, just like about the action, strangers come to town, fish out of water, but there's these creatures trying to bust in, and all of the soldiers are in different bright colored outfits, and they're all organized, and the war scenes are so cool, and they're swinging on wires. It's like, man, it's so fun. You check out Great Wall if you have the chance. I also saw in there because I love it. I think it might be my favorite Jackie Chan movie, so I snuck it in there, unrelated again. Rumble in the Bronx. Can't get enough of that movie. I've seen it so much. I would love to see the Hong Kong cut that's just been released on that other Arrow box set, the Breakout Hits, Jackie Chan. Rumble in the Bronx. If you haven't seen that, check that out. What a fun movie that is. That was used as his second launching pad to try to get Jackie Chan into America, and this one was the one that worked. The first one, I think it was like, he did like the Protector, and what's the other one? The Big Brawl or Brawl Street. I can't remember. But they attempted it, didn't do well. So he didn't break out in the 80s like they wanted, but it finally worked in the 90s, and that led to like Rush Hour and all these other things. But also saw Chow Hark, Young Detective D. I saw Detective D, the first one, Detective D and the Phantom Flame. And then I saw the second one, which is the prequel, Young Detective D. Detective D and the Phantom Flame is better. But Young Detective D has this giant sea creature. The problem is it's very CGI heavy, and the CGI is not the greatest. But both movies are fun. And there's this one like guy who's turning into a fish person, and it's a fun movie. But the first one, Detective D and the Phantom Flame, is good. Haven't seen the third one yet. That's another like series that he was working on later in his career. So saw that. Obviously, CGI is definitely all over the modern Hong Kong films, especially the ones, because they started to go back to the wushu films and the style, and everything is kind of affected by, well, everything's affected by the Matrix. And the Matrix was, everybody working on the Matrix worked on those old movies, those Hong Kong choreographers and stuff. And then of course the other Chow Yun-fat Oscar winner, the Ang Lee, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, also affected what their movies would look like. There's a lot of wire work. They went back to wire work, but this time it's like crazy wire work, but wire work interspersed with the CGI. So everything is like Marvel now. But sometimes the effects are really good. Sometimes, like, I don't know if you call it like the Monkey King. The Monkey King, I like the Monkey King. It has a charm to it. And I still haven't seen the other Monkey Kings, but the first Monkey King. But the effects in the D films, especially Young Detective D, are a little shoddy. And I know that like all these films have different effects houses working on them. So this one, but they're fun. They're great. They're like Sherlock Holmes, but like a Chinese Sherlock Holmes is basically what he is. He's but they're also dealing with like actual historical stuff that I heard is maybe a bit inaccurate. You're also going to run into propaganda in some of these films because they have a different system over there in country, depending on when in history you're watching the film and stuff. But that's not why you're watching the movie. Of course, finally, I saw City on Fire, another Ringo Lam, the one that infamously everybody says ripped off Reservoir Dogs. Yawn on that one. Not really. Seriously, like, that is, okay, there's the one shot with the double guns in the car. You could, obviously, Tarantino was a big fan of Chow Yun-fat and John Woo. He loved all those bullet ballet movies. That yes. Okay, so we borrowed that. The stuff at the end with the Mexican standoff. Yeah. Okay. He popularized it. He brought it to the States. He made it cool. Everybody saw Reservoir Dogs, especially after Pulp Fiction. But did he rip off the movie? No. City on Fire is so much more than what Reservoir Dogs does with it. And it's a great, just undercover cop, into deep film. There's like so much new that Tarantino brings to it. It's original. Reservoir Dogs is original, and plus he lifts from so much more than City on Fire, like the killing and all these other things that he lifts like the names from. He cherry picks. So to hone in on City on Fire, the only thing I don't like is that he obviously borrowed elements from City on Fire. I don't like anytime he shits on these movies. I don't like him telling the story that he ran into Ringo Lam, and Ringo Lam said, like, oh, yo, your movie's better than my movie. You took the last 10 minutes of my movie and made a better movie than my movie. He's like self-deprecating. I don't know if that's true. I don't like to hear it. And if it is true, I feel sorry for Ringo Lam, because I think he's a good director, and I think he makes good movies. And I hate to hear that. He might think that of himself. But, and I don't agree. Reservoir Dogs has some problems too. Might be controversial to say. What's better, Reservoir Dogs or City on Fire? In a lot of ways, it's apples and oranges. My favorite parts of Reservoir Dogs are the flashbacks with dealing with the Tim Roth character. When he tells the story, that whole sequence in the bathroom with the cops and the dog, and when and then the guy who's helping him is telling him, oh, you gotta come up with a backstory. It's gotta be, naturalistic as hell or whatever. That whole scene is some of the best shit that Tarantino's ever done, and none of that's in City on Fire. But City on Fire, great action, great characters, fun. At the end of his ropes, on the verge of a nervous breakdown, Chow Yun-fat. That's what you want. You want him reckless. You want him crazy. You want him at any moment he might snap. He might break. You want him dark and edgy. You want that dangerous bad boy, and you get that in City on Fire. And he's a cop, but he's deep undercover, so he's lost himself a bit, but he's dangerous in all the aspects of his life, not only in what he does, the fact he's lying to all these people that he's infiltrating, but also in his relationships. And it's that classic trope of like not being able to juggle your personal life and your professional life because you're a cop and you're like, I can't show up at the airport, honey. I gotta do my thing, and she's not understanding, and then that doesn't go well. It's like that stuff too. Again, very just like lots of drama mixed in with the bullets. It's not nonstop shooting. They care about the characters, in these movies. But City on Fire, man, really, really worth watching. I feel like for the longest time it was considered just like subpar and just like, that's the movie that Reservoir Dogs stole from. It's no good. Just watch Reservoir Dogs instead. No, they're completely two different films. Don't listen to anybody who tells you that. Watch these fucking movies. They're fucking amazing. And then, of course, I saw Replicant. Man, I was surprised by Replicant. That's another Ringo Lam that he did with... I want to go back and watch Maximum Risk. I always thought it was kind of bland. But now that I'm really into Lamb, I want to go back and watch it again. And it's got that cool actor from Killing Zoe, or Killing Zoe, whatever, however you say that, the Roger Avery movie with Eric Stoltz and Julie Delpy. His buddy, I can't remember his name now, French actor. I think he's French, pretty sure. And he's great in Killing Zoe. He's, crazy in that. And then, and he's so like straight-laced and straight man in Maximum Risk, and it was weird seeing him that way, but he's such a good actor even in that movie. So I want to go back and watch that again. But Replicant, man, it's a blast. Van Damme and Michael Rooker. Van Damme basically plays like a man-child. He's a clone. It's another fish out of water thing, but he doesn't know. He's basically like mentally, he's like 8 years old or some shit. He's like learning what everything is, what's going on. And Michael Rooker hates his ass because he's the clone. It's kind of like a Face-Off kind of vibe, because he's the clone of the serial killer that he's chasing. So it's like that outlandish sci-fi plot of they don't explain the technology too much, like in Face-Off. We could take a guy's face off and put it on the other guy, and now he's the other guy. And they don't show you like how they change the body. They show you a little bit how they change the voice, everything. You gotta just like take it with a grain of salt. It's fine. It's not the point. Just enjoy the ride. Replicant's kind of like that. You don't really get to learn too much on how they're cloning people, but they clone him, and he's like kind of connected to the serial killer. And the serial killer's got this weird like mommy thing going on because he's killing like moms because he has a weird thing with his mom. It's like a serial killer thing like that. So it's got like, and it doesn't hold back all these elements because it's Ringo Lam. It's hardcore in every way. He doesn't hold back. Ringo Lam is a dangerous, some people may consider, filmmaker in that he doesn't care what you think. He's gonna service the story, and he's gonna do it in the way that he considers is the right way, the true way, the honest way, and you gotta love that. Replicant is like so weird, but man, and the stunts. It's got that Hong Kong flavor, man. Anytime Van Damme has done a movie with a Hong Kong filmmaker, man, it's just got something else. He's got great taste in the directors he chose for his movies, and it was so cool of him to give them this opportunity to work in the States for more exposure And I wish it would have worked more, because I can't say that these movies did too much for them. Van Damme wanted it to have that same effect that Hard Target had for John Woo, but it didn't. It really didn't. It's unfortunate. But he did do the most films with Ringo Lam. He did 3 of them. To where with Tsui Hark he did 2, and then, like I said, Woo, he only did 1. But check out Replicant. It's weird. Just be prepared. But it's fun. And if you like Michael Rooker, it's got great Michael Rooker in it. It's an awesome movie. And then what else did I see? Okay, so Better Tomorrow. I hope I said enough about these movies. I don't want to say too much because I want you to watch them. They're worth it. They're amazing. Is it the law of diminishing returns? Possibly. I get the wildness and what everybody says about Better Tomorrow too. It's freaking nuts. But I'd say that the first one is probably the best, and then the second one is right there, but a little bit lower. And then the third one is the lowest. But still, all of these movies are worth watching. They're all good. Just watch them. Just because the only reason I'm saying this is because Better Tomorrow is so good. So if we're comparing them, but yeah, Bullet in the Head, really, really wild. Don't be. I don't know if you would be, but don't be turned off by John Woo's decision to use the old 1950s and 60s songs, but do like instrumental versions of them, and he spreads them. I love that. Like right away, as soon as the movie starts, you recognize the tune. What is this? What is this score? What is this? It's like he's recreating old American classics, like pop and rock classics from that era, to like capture the innocence that he's trying to convey, and put on the characters and the time. It's like, okay, this is like a more innocent, fun time, and then we're gonna go. Not that there isn't, like, because it's like it's also like a little bit of a gang film and people are getting beat up and this and that, but compared to where the movie goes, and it is surprising. All these movies, too, roller coaster rides. You don't know where they're going. Surprising moments all throughout the film. You're not going to be bored. You're not going to be bored. And was that the end of my journey for this round? It might be. Obviously I paused it. Like I said, it grew a little stale. A little ADHD. A lot ADHD. Gotta be honest. So I go through these hyperfixations. I'm at least aware of it now. Later in my life. I've been doing this my whole life now. At least I know why this happens. So I never want to beat a dead horse. I hate to use that phrase. But I never want to go further than I don't want to be forcing it, especially because what this is art, this is entertainment. I want to have fun, so I just put it on the back burner. It's like, you sit here, I'll know when it's time. I pick it back up because these filmographies, these journeys, they're long. There's a lot to, ingest here. You have to take your time. It's okay. This was a big one. This is one of my bigger ones. Because like I said, I was like always branching out. It was like Lamb and Tsui Hark and John Woo and Jackie Chan, and it was like, what do you got? And one of how this happened, I gotta be honest with you. So, lots of people talk about the service Plex, and a lot of people use it to store their own personal movie libraries at home. But there's something else that Plex provides that a lot of people don't talk about. Now, Plex is basically Tubi. It's another Tubi clone. There's a lot of them. But I've discovered that Plex has become one of my favorites. So because Plex has one of the things that the others don't. Not only did Plex have all these movies, and probably still does have all these movies. Now, granted, there's a lot of crossover. There's a lot of stuff that Tubi has that Plex is going to have, but there's also a lot of stuff that Plex has that Tubi don't have. So you need all these apps if you want to try to take advantage of this free entertainment, this free content. You don't have to pay a thing. You just got to sit through ads. One of the cons is Plex, a little bit more ads. Just going to let you know. A little bit more ads, but one of the things that Plex has, it's so good, that Tubi's got to get on, is you scroll down on the movie page, click on the movie, it tells you all the actors, but doesn't in that like IMDb style where you're scrolling, has their pictures, has their names. You can click on one of the pictures, takes you to their movies. You scroll down a little further, it's got all the Rotten Tomato reviews right on the same page. This is on the Xbox app. All right. This is also on the browser. Any app you got, it's like this. And it's got reviews, so it tells you like what people are thinking about it. You scroll down, it shows you other movies like it. It has a category, other movies starring, or the writer, director, whatever, people who were in this movie. So then it lists all these other movies. And again, box art, like posters. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Click on it, takes you to the page. Scroll down, even more movies. Maybe this movie has this other actor in it. Now he's included in the list of connected tissue. Oh, it's a dream. It's a fixated man's dream. You got to check this out. And then they have everything. The categorization. It's amazing. They have it like everything that's on Plex to stream for free is in its own category. But what's great about Plex is if they don't have it, they tell you who does. Now, the only thing they don't have, because obviously it's impossible, is they'll have like the logo of where you can go watch it, but you can't click on it and then it opens up something else and takes you there. But that's fine. They'll tell you in a long list. It's like, we don't got it, but, you know, Tubi has it, Prime has it, HBO Max has it, Netflix has it, or just Netflix has it, or everybody. They'll pop up with a logo and a name that you never heard of before. Like, JoJo has it. It's like, JoJo, what's that? It's like, oh, you never heard of JoJo? You know, it's like, okay. So then you Google JoJo and it takes you to the website and you're like, oh, JoJo. And then you discover something else. It's a great hub for accessibility. And because I mean, I'm fine. I'll go to Wiki. I'll go to IMDb. I'm fine. I can do that. But just to see some of my steps being taken care of for me, and Plex is actually trying to offer something new, and they do. They offer something great, because you know one of the problems with a lot of these streamers, even the ones you pay for every month, some of those are the worst as far as organization. Like this can't be that hard to do, but Plex does it, and they do it, and they don't ask you for any money. Now maybe that's why their commercials are a little longer. I'm fine with that though, because one of the things I've been doing lately, I'll just share this with you, is I also have like executive dysfunction and stuff. It's hard for me to get started doing something that I have to do. You know, I'll procrastinate or this and that, so I have a hard time getting motivated to do things. If I'm watching something, sometimes I'll choose Plex because the commercials are longer. So then once the commercial comes on, I'll pick up my phone and I'll do some writing. While the commercial, I was like, okay, I have 2 minutes and 30 seconds to do some writing. And I'll write in little tiny increments. And then next thing you know, by the end of the day, I wrote a long thing. You know, it's like that you got to be able to train yourself to do that. You could either pause the commercials, or if you're one of those people who can write with other people talking or things going on, then do it. And it's been working great for me. You know, it's like the commercials are telling me when to be productive. It's like, okay, now it's time to bring your attention here. You know. So anyway, that was my one of my journeys. I also went on a journey right before this that was also great, where I went and watched almost all the Dutch Paul Verhoeven movies. Oh, that was a hell of a time. I'm telling you, that's another one I recommend. Maybe I'll save that for another movie or another video. But thank you for your time. I hope this was entertaining. Sorry about the keyboard here. I figured it would be easier for me to... I didn't even wind up using this a lot, but I wanted to... I have like my phone just placed on the screen of my my computer. You do what you got to do, right? But it's been fun. Thanks for listening. I hope it's been informative. I hope it inspires. What I really want is I wanted to inspire you to go on your own film journeys and go back and watch these Hong Kong movies. But just allow yourself to just be open, and the answers will come to you. You'll just know. You know, and sometimes, a lot of the time, I get it from a YouTube video or something I hear somebody say outside the house, or Plexel inspire me. And then my brain starts cooking. And I'm like, all right, we're off. You just need your first block. And then boom, and in the chain or whatever, and the chain just keeps boop, 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 boop. Next thing you know, you got all these movies that you watch. You're like, oh, that was fun. That was fun. I look back fondly on all these when I do them. And I look forward to the next part, because I still, like I said, have to see Red Cliff, and I have so much more Tsui Hark to see. even though I've seen a lot of his stuff already. Only touched the surface in Ringo Lam. Haven't seen the Prison on Fire movies yet either. But it's going to be fun. So thanks again, and have a great time. Just to say, like and subscribe if you have the chance. It helps YouTube. It just helps because YouTube is, no offense, a little worthless. It doesn't really help you at all, and yeah, I mean any little bit counts. So if you have the chance to hit a little thing or to subscribe or drop a comment or something, feel free. But either way, no pressure. Just enjoy yourself and have a good one, and see you next time.